we need to start with a pretty major discussion involving some of the branding going on at Tennessee Athletics. And you guys probably can't see it right now, but there is a patch on my left arm of the shirt that I'm wearing. Let me move my arm up to the screen. You can probably make out what that is now. Yes, it is the Adidas logo. Tennessee is officially switching back to Adidas in 2026 after a 10-year run with Nike. And this has caused a lot of controversy among Tennessee fans. Some prior experiences with Adidas were not stellar, especially toward the back end, but there have been some good experiences as well. You know, that's the last time Tennessee won a national championship was when it was wearing Adidas. Jordan, what are your thoughts on Tennessee's latest move over to Adidas?
Well, I know we discussed it, like the deal potentially taking place, and like here we are with it being official now. I've changed my tune a little bit with it. I mean, the fact that Tennessee is going to be getting paid, I think the reports are $20 million a year. I mean, I figured that's got to be great for the athletic program as a whole. But then also too, I mean, I'm just excited, I guess, to see a change a little bit. I'm going to miss Nike a lot. I thought Nike knocked it out of the park in terms of apparel and everything like that. And a lot of the uniforms across all the major sports at Tennessee, whether it's baseball, basketball, they all looked really nice under Nike. So it's going to be disappointing to see those things go. But I mean, I'm pretty excited just for a change, and if it brings more recruiting in, because I know a lot of Tennessee's, the people that they're targeting or have already got committed to the team, a lot of them have Adidas deals going on through NIL. I think Tristan Keys is with Adidas, which he potentially could flip to Tennessee. We'll have to see. I think Faison Brandon, if I'm not mistaken, he's already with Adidas. So, I mean, it's good for those guys and everything, which more money, more recruits. I mean, I think it could be pretty nice for Tennessee. Like I said, the one thing that I'm kind of worried about is I don't want the smoky grays to disappear. I know the smoky grays existed before with Adidas, but it was a lot different. And I also don't want the dark mode jerseys to go away, because I've really fell in love with those dark mode uniforms. I mean, pretty much ever since Tennessee released them. So I don't know what the rights, what kind of rights Tennessee has with it, but I'm hoping that they can keep at least one of the alternate uniforms, whatever it ends up being. But the good thing about Tennessee switching to Adidas this time is I've heard that Tennessee is going to have a lot more freedom to control what they want with their uniforms, whereas I heard that was not the case when they were first with Adidas. So that hearing that is really calmed my nerves on any of the situation going on at Adidas. It's made me feel more confident in the situation.
Well, you brought up a couple of things that I was going to mention. One, the thing with Tristan Keys, he has signed that deal with Adidas. I believe that was back in early June, right around the time in which this stuff had dropped initially. And it would be kind of funny if Tennessee's whole goal in switching to Adidas was to win over recruits because of NIL deals, and then Tristan Keys stays committed to LSU. They're doing a lot to try and lure him over. And who knows, it could very well happen in the next few weeks. I mean, this is kind of it now, just in terms of the 26 kids keeping their commitments that have already committed, because you get later on in the year and it's you're going to flip 1 week before you have to move into school, because all these kids are early enrollees for the most part. There's a few that aren't, but a lot of them are. So that would be kind of sad if Tennessee had made that effort and it was completely in vain. Jordan, you mentioned the creative control, and I think that's one thing that's going to help a lot for Tennessee, because you don't have to worry about Adidas messing up your orange on your away jerseys like it was in years past. And honestly, and this is not just me saying this because Tennessee is flipping to Adidas, so I'm trying to sunshine pump here, but I didn't particularly enjoy the Nike number font on Tennessee's uniforms. Did it look clean? Yes, but I think the older one was a better look with Adidas as opposed to this one. Because, honestly, you look at Tennessee's home uniforms in 2013, the white numbers in particular, not the smoky grays or any of that fun stuff. I thought those were really good looking, and it's kind of sad that Tennessee went away from those because I thought they were a nice look, and maybe if you had gotten more creative control with Nike, you would have been able to do that. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Maybe that's something we see Tennessee go back to. I know Georgia, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago now, flipped back to their old numbers that they had previously, because the ones they had for like a 7 or 8 year period there, when guys like Jake Fromm were there, they were not good in comparison to the ones that they wore in the early 2000s. But maybe this is a step in the right direction, and we would be completely missing the point of this if we did not mention the fact that money talks, and it very much does in this case. Tennessee was getting $5.5 million from Nike, not as many creative rights as what Adidas is giving it. Adidas is essentially making Tennessee the premier brand for Adidas in college athletics, and you thought $5.5 million was good. Let's try $20 million. That's what Tennessee's getting out of that. So there are definitely some positives to this deal.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think that it's a great opportunity of Tennessee too, like, just, to stick out. I mean, because like, how many teams are really with Nike? Like obviously, like, there's Alabama, there's Oregon. Like, I would say majority of the college football programs are Nike teams. So I mean, it'd be a nice way for Tennessee to stick out, especially if, I mean, considering they have creative control this time around. I mean, they could really come up with some really good uniform ideas and stuff, and then like, like, you don't have to be just one of Nike's people. You can be one of the flagship programs to be sponsored by Adidas. So I mean, I think it's great for Tennessee. And I like what you said too about like the number fonts, because that's always been my biggest gripe with Nike. Like, I didn't really have many complaints with them because, like I said, the apparel is nice. The uniforms overall were nice. But the font, I didn't feel like it was Tennessee. I felt like it was Nike. If that makes any kind of sense. But like, I like the old traditional block numbers, and we've seen a lot of history from Tennessee with the old block numbers. So, I mean, of course, we don't know what we're going to get yet, but I'm assuming that's probably where we're going to be leaning, is going back to the way that things used to be. And I'm excited for that. And plus, too, like, more merch. And I'm assuming this time around, too, the Adidas merch is going to take a big step up, too, especially considering that they're trying to push Tennessee this time around more so than they probably did back in the past. I mean, Tennessee is a much better program than it was when they were last with Adidas. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, we could see a lot of cool new clothing items, new uniforms and everything. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be an exciting thing to monitor for the next year for sure.
I would want to see the return of the black away number outline that Tennessee had in the late 1990s and early 2000s. I thought that was actually kind of a cool look, even though it was really designed for broadcasters to be able to tell what kind or what number player that to say on the broadcast, because you just didn't have good outlines before then with it being all orange. Not that white is much better necessarily, but maybe you bring that back and it's a little bit more legible. And I'd be all for that, honestly.
Yeah, and even if they don't bring the black outlines back, the cool thing is with like Tennessee going back to Adidas, they could definitely make that a throwback uniform and make that look pretty nice too, which would be fun to see.
And I guess the other thing we have to address with this is the alternates, because you've mentioned this a little bit before, and talking about the fact that it didn't look good when they brought out the smoky grays and the dark modes initially. Adidas has changed. I think there has been a change in leadership there that has decided to class up the look a little bit, which I think should help Tennessee in getting its stuff done by Adidas now. And just thinking too, like the initial black jerseys that came out in 2009, that was a last minute decision for that game. That was not something that Tennessee had even put a thought into before that. So I think that's a big part of it. And then the Smoky Grays, you'd have to think they'll be better than the Abominations they created. What was that, 12 years ago now? They had that one that Tennessee just had to send back and just say, look, not only is it off color, it looks disgusting. It really does look disgusting with the checkerboard sleeves. That's not a good look. So, but again, Tennessee is in creative control here, so it should help if anything.
Yeah, and like that was like the issue the last go around. I mean, because those uniforms that Tennessee almost potentially wore, the ones that you were alluding to with the checkerboard shoulder pads, like from what I've read, that was not Tennessee's idea at all. Like that was completely Adidas thing, and then they scrapped the idea. And I'm pretty sure the year after that, Tennessee switched to Nike. Not saying like there's any
No,
like
there might
ties
be.
to that. I mean, maybe that was the like they just saw how ugly those uniforms are, and they're like, we got to get out of here ASAP. But yeah, I mean, like Tennessee, they're gonna have more creative control this time around, and I mean, like we've already seen the things that they have been doing with like the different renditions of the Smoky Grays. Like switched a couple things up with the orange helmets, like that I know are infamous to a lot of Tennessee fans. With Nike, Tennessee was switching up a lot of different things, and I'm assuming that Tennessee wouldn't have signed this deal if they couldn't do the same with Adidas. So, I mean, I figure we're still going to see a lot of cool uniforms to come outside of the home and away uniforms.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier too with Tennessee's transition back to Adidas, but Tennessee would never have been the favorite among Nike personnel. It was always going to be Oregon because of the connection with Phil Knight. They were always going to get the cool stuff before Tennessee did, and most other Nike schools would, honestly. And of course, we know that doesn't always equate to national championships, but Jordan, you and I come from an era in which funky uniforms were the cool thing, and that's what all the kids wanted to go play in. So that's just something that I think worked against Tennessee a little bit when it was with Nike, just the fact that you'd never be the premier brand. But now that Tennessee is getting that stamp, you can expect some more help from Adidas in the NIL world too, like we've already mentioned. So should only be a positive for Tennessee, but if they do roll out some very crappy looking Smoky Grays in 2026, then I think we'll all be disappointed.
Yeah, the big thing with the Smoky Grays, I mean, I don't know if they'll be able to make a return because I'm sure Nike has some kind of copyright on it, but the Smoky Mountains on the helmets and everything, that's one thing I will miss. Like I'm sure they do keep the Smoky Grays around. I just don't know if they'll be able to do that. Unfortunately, they might.
Creative control. They have creative control. They might be able to say, hey, can you just put this on there? I don't know if copyright lawsuits would apply at all in this change in direction with the athletic apparel, but we'll see. They might be able to do it.
Well, and then I guess too, like Tennessee wasn't wearing Nike helmets, right? Like, I mean, like they were wearing like Rydell's and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, and can you like copyright the Smoky Mountains too? Like, I don't know. So maybe we do see him make a return. I mean, that would be my big hope for sure.